Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to Best Laid Plans, implementing RPT presented by Georgia State University. Thank you to Dana and Corey for taking the time to speak to us today. Take it away.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon. We are excited to talk with you today. We're going to introduce ourselves deeper later, but my name is Corey Fountain, and this is Dana Brown. We're going to talk to you a bit more about who we are and what we do in a few. So we're going to do a deeper introduction of who we are. I'll introduce Georgia State to you, so you know a little bit about where we work. We'll talk a bit about the beginning, how we got started, where we began, where we thought we were headed, and how we got there. We'll talk about the initial faculty reactions to this new thing called Interfolio, the continued work that we kept doing and how it almost took Dana out as we continued doing this. The timeline, and you have a handout that will talk more about the timeline, and it's on the edges of the seats if you need one, if you haven't gotten that yet. And then lastly, the evolution of faculty and some surveys to talk about. So first, who we are. I'm going to actually start with Reed. You'll see an asterisk there. Reed Tankersley was the director of faculty HR in the Office of Faculty Affairs. And he's no longer with us, but we wanted to honor the great work that he did in helping to implement this work. He was Dana's immediate supervisor and did an amazing job and wanted to honor that even though he's no longer at our institution. So Dana is a staff member. She's the information systems administrator. She does all things Interfolio. She also does all things people admin, all things digital measures, and all things managing my work-life balance. Nobody gave her that title, but she tells me in all caps in text messages, "Did you eat? I didn't see you eat." It's all until you get an all caps message. But yes, Dana is all of those things, and I appreciate that. So I'm the Senior Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs at Georgia State, so I manage our team. We're in multiple locations, multiple people, and this is but one of the things that our office does, and I stand in awe of what Dana does and what all of you do. But one of the reasons why we wanted to present together is because I come from a faculty background. I did assistant, associate, full professor. I was a department chair for 5 years. I was an associate dean, all the things. I was interim provost. Another institution asked to borrow me for a few months, and I came back, and now senior associate provost. So my perspective is from the faculty lens, and Dana's perspective is from the staff lens. And so sometimes we're like, but, and it's great to have both of those perspectives. So we're going to share from two different lenses for you today. So just a quick bit about Georgia State. All of the things on here we are very, very proud of. What you don't see on here is that we are an R1. Right now we have about 54,000 students. We are a predominantly Black institution. Up until this past year, we were the only R1 in the country that was also predominantly Black. Right now, Howard has joined us. We're super excited about that. But we are known for student success nationwide for what we do there. I would like to say faculty success too, but that's not going to be on the slide because they don't say that, but I will. 6 campuses. In particular, we have all of these colleges that we have over, most of them are on the Atlanta campus, with the exception of Perimeter College. Perimeter College has 5 campuses all throughout Metro Atlanta, and this is our associate degree granting campuses. These are all 2-year campuses, and we love this because the students that go to Perimeter College transition, if they want to Atlanta. They don't transfer. All the paperwork for transferring does not exist. We have a process to literally transition them to downtown to make it easier on them so that we don't lose them. But they don't always want to. They don't always want to transition downtown, and we don't push that either. But they are smaller class sizes. It is affordable. It is stackable. So sometimes students start at Perimeter and they might get certificates and go from there. And so it's a great place for social mobility and ways to start for students. Just a couple other things is just keeping in mind that we have 2,000 full-time faculty. That is not always including, depending on who's putting it in for RPT, limited term faculty, but it should never be including part-time instructors. Including of everyone, it's about 3,500. But we have multiple different types of faculty for non-tenure track, which is quite different than a lot of other places. A lot of places don't have this many types of non-tenure track. So for us, we have a university manual that has just for tenure track and then one just for non-tenure track. Each college has a tenure track and a non-tenure track. Each department has a tenure track and a non-tenure track. So just to put that into perspective, the College of Arts and Sciences has a tenure track and a non-tenure track, but they have 22 departments. So each department then has their own two. So that gets us to just sort of describing the beginning, and Dana's going to take over to talk about our excitement, how we initially approached this with getting on that line, getting ready to start. Dana?
Okay, so it started in September of 2021 when I accepted the position. So I had to hit the ground running, which meant that I was enrolled at Interfolio University. I met with my customer service person. I met with the implementation person who's no longer with Interfolio, and I attended office hours even though I had no clue what they were talking about. I asked questions. I even put in feature requests. I did all the things. So from September, a little bit after I started in September, our provost put out a call for volunteers for our pilot. And we ended up getting 7 academic units to volunteer, 7 out of the 11. Out of the 7, 6 of them would have both tenure track and non-tenure track cases potentially, and then 1 of the units would only have non-tenure track cases. What we did was we decided that they could only have 4 college administrators. It was up to the dean to decide who those 4 people would be. They could have as many case managers as they needed. That wasn't a problem. The limit was 4 administrators. The administrators could be staff. Most of them were staff, and then we had some colleges who also did staff and faculty who were part of the OFA Council, the Office of Faculty Affairs Council. So we had administrators who were staff and faculty. In November, also in between September and November, I also created university templates. So I did a naming convention, I looked at our manual. That was the bones of the templates. No one could delete anything out of that university template. It was there, that's what you're supposed to be doing at the minimum. So once I did that, I tested it on my own. I tried to break the system. I could not break it. I said, okay, this is great. So once I did, I also had to get people, so some of my colleagues that I used to work with on a college level, I used them to help me test it. Hey, here go some documents. Here's how you log in. I need you to put this stuff in for me. Hey, do you see this? I put you in as this reviewer. Did you get an email? Oh, you got the email. Great, thank you. So I did a lot of that. In November, I completed the testing, and then I started communicating with the administrators. So in December, we are mandatorily closed for 2 weeks for winter break. What I did was I told my administrators, hey, you're getting ready to go into Interfolio University. You're going to receive an email. Look at it at your leisure before the break. Look at it over the break. I'm not saying you have to, but you can. But the bottom line is you have to have it completed by the last day in February. That's it. Then in December, when they were enrolled, then that they were on their own. And I also sent them emails to remind them, hey, don't forget you need to do this. So some helpful tidbits. University level communication happened before I got there. When I was at the college level, I knew that there was a change coming. I didn't know it was Interfolio, but I knew it had something to do with our review, promotion, and tenure. I just knew that much. The meeting with my implementation person was paramount. The amount of patience that they have for my facial expressions, for some of the comments that I make, and they never made me feel like I was an idiot. I loved it. They were very patient, very kind. The Interfolio University was very helpful for me. What I told the administrators is everything that you see in that module is not going to be applicable because I'm the one who's going to have all the power. You're going to have some of it. Okay? Office hours, loved them. I sat in on some office hours, didn't say anything. Sometimes we were on there together silent, but I was there to listen to questions that other people had because that would help me learn. And then the other thing that you need to be able to do is you need to be able to translate how you need Interfolio to work for you. If you can't do that translation, you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Okay?
So, as I mentioned, I'm in the faculty world. And so that means that I go to Faculty Senate, I lead the OFA Council, which are all the associate deans for faculty affairs in all the colleges. I am doing all the faculty things, and literally someone said, "Who is Dana and why do y'all hate us? What is wrong? What happened?" And I said, "What is wrong? What are you talking about?" They were like, "Well, there's this person in your office that's making us learn something." And I said, "Wow, okay, let's start from that." And the thing is, I speak faculty, right? Like, this is what I do. I'm one of you. And I remember after I got my PhD, I told my whole family, if I ever have to go back to another class, if I ever lose my license, I'm never gonna get it back. I'm never going back. I'm not getting another license. I'm never taking another class. I get it. I get it. We are speaking to faculty during their most vulnerable times. And that's what I want to convey to you. When you're talking to faculty during annual review, during RPT, that is their livelihood at risk. They're not their best. Sometimes they're not their best in general. I'm not saying that, but sometimes. But when you're talking to them at their worst stressful time, you're not gonna get their best, especially if you don't speak faculty. So for me, I do speak faculty. So who is Dana and why does OFA hate us? First of all, we don't hate you. And Dana's fabulous. But they had to learn that. So they also said, I don't want or need to learn another system. I understood that. There's this thing called system fatigue. You learn something, and then it goes away, and then they're mad. I'm not saying Georgia State ever did that. No. But I also understand that there is a thing called system fatigue. People get tired of learning new systems, and then by the time they get it down pat, it's gone. And so it's a fear of having to learn something new that's going to go away. So then they were automatically annoyed. But this is the one that really got me. Well, if Dana's gonna offer training, I'm gonna have her sit down with me. We're gonna do the whole thing together. I don't know how to hit submit. I don't know how to hit send. I'm gonna have Dana sit with me and do the whole thing. No, ma'am, no, sir, no, you are not do that. But that is the type of thing that Dana was encountering because we had to define who is being trained, what is training, and why, what is the purpose of training. Now, someone asked me this yesterday. They said, does Dana come to you when she's encountering problems with people? Oh, no, she does not, because Dana knows how to say no. And you heard her say her facial expressions. In an ironic twist of fate, Dana's office is right next to mine. I have an assistant provost, I have multiple directors, but Dana is right next to me. Sometimes I have literally walked up to Dana and said, hey, are you okay? Do we need to talk? No, I got it. And I'm like, but there's other times when Dana does not want me to intervene, because if I intervene, it's a whole other level. And she doesn't want that for anyone. She doesn't want that for the people that she's trying to help. So,
99% of the time, I don't want that. That's 1%.
But there's that 1%. So faculty were convinced, absolutely convinced at the start of this, that number one, the system was not going to work. Number two, that it was going to be more work that they could handle in the midst of their most trying time. And that's why I wanted to bring that to your attention. They are not at their best at this time. They're stressed. They're worried. Some of them, it is consequential. We're thinking, oh, it's just a regular review. For some faculty, it means this could be your career on the line. So I'm not saying to give all of them the grace that I'm mentioning, but for some of them, it is important to understand that they're not just coming from a place of this is a regular review. Some of them are really contemplating major life decisions that are going into Interfolio. So just keeping that part in mind as we're continuing to think about their initial faculty reactions. So then the continued work happened, and this is a picture. Is a factual, realistic, and concerning depiction of how Dana looked for months. Literally walked by her office, and she was sitting just like this in her office. And because she's so supportive and so good at customer service, a lot of times she would not even say anything. I'm like, you okay? Yep, I got it. I'm working on it. But this college, I'm like, oh, okay. Do you need me to step in? No. So, Dana, thank you for all the continued work. We'll talk about that later, but the work continues. So trying to get faculty to get over the fear, to get over the anxiousness, to get over all of the system fatigue took a collaborative effort. So, Dana?
Okay, so in January, why? So in January, when we returned back,
Things got shifted there.
yeah, in January when we returned back from the break, I sent them an email to remind them of their due date to finish Interfolio University. In mid-January, I started requesting progress reports from Interfolio of where they were in their training. So that gave me an idea of what questions I could expect, who's not doing the training, and who I'm gonna have to really say, you need to get this done. Right? So for the most part, everyone was progressing. I could tell it got to a point where I could tell by their questions where they were in the training. And I could say, hey, if you keep on going two more sessions, you're gonna get the answer to your question. If it's not clear, come back and we'll talk it through how you need to make it work for your college, right? Meet them where they are, but gently nudge them to keep moving forward. At the end of January, I enrolled into lifecycle management. At the time, they were doing cohorts. It was an 8-week cohort. So let me be honest, that meant I was going to be doing 3 implementations at this time. RPT, there was a college expansion of another software that we're using, and then I was taking on lifecycle management. That's why I was looking the way I looked, okay? You can't tell I have a head full of hair, but I was scared I was going to pull it out. But I kept going. So between January and February, I made appointments with the college administrators, and we discussed how you clone and you customize the templates for your college. You had to keep the name of convention, you replace university with your college name, and then I walked them through how to do what they needed to do. Some people just wanted me on the teams for moral support. They worked. I worked. When they'd had a question, they would catch my attention and I'd answer the question. Simple. Went a long way. I did that with all of the administrators. Okay? We also, at some point in time, we lost our non-tenure track pilot, and that had pilot participant, and it had to do with some staffing changes, and they weren't doing the training either. So when they said they had to drop out, I said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay. So in February, I arranged, I talked with Interfolio to do a customized training with my administrators. And by that time, I had one college who completed everything. They had customized their, clone and customized all of their templates. They had completed Interfolio University. We did some light testing with their workflows so that they could see what it looked like, so they could, hey, you can't break it. I tried it. You can't do it. And as a matter of fact, that training used that college's templates during the training. But that training took place in March. So by the time March rolled around, we had our first cases initiated. So that was for the tenure track promotion and review. So they also initiated the request for external evaluations. Sorry, brain fart. So we had that, all that went on, great, wonderful. Once I sent out my kudos, hey, Thank you to the College of Arts and Sciences. They're the first one to finish. They're the first one to initiate their cases. Hey, you guys are going to be behind the time you need to make sure that you're booking. And I also followed up with colleges. Where are you? Do you have cases? You don't have cases? Okay, great, but you still need to finish up these milestones that we have. The end of March, the cohort ended, and then I said, I can't do it. I have to stop life cycle management. If I don't, that picture that you saw was gonna be worse. And thanks to my leadership, they just said, we understand. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Okay. Oh, wrong way, sorry. Invaluable tidbits. If you can manage, have your individual meetings with your units, with at least those administrators. I did not meet with any of the case managers at all. The thing was that we will address the case managers as we later on down the line. Your individual training sessions with the units. I did that. We had reviewer, we had administrative experience, I had a reviewer experience, and I had a candidate experience. I did all the things. You tell me how you want me to help you train your college, but you're the expert for your college. I want you to stand up there and do the training. I'm the technical person. They need to come to you first. For those who were comfortable, that was great. For those who weren't, it was great. It didn't matter, but I wanted to make sure that they understood you're empowered to do the training. These are your people. I love you. I have your back, but these are your people. They don't know me. They know you. I did emails reminding them of where they should be in the process. So at the end of the chairs, there's an example of the pilot timeline that I did. And what I did was, as the times hit, I just sent them an email, put a checkbox where, hey, this is where we are. If you're not here, we need to have a conversation because we need to get you to this state. And one thing that I did not do that I wish I had have done was when I did the individual trainings, I wished I had recorded them. I didn't do it. It would have been something helpful for the colleges that they could look back on. Some colleges did do it on their own, but after I had started, it was too late. If I didn't do for one, I wasn't doing for any. I didn't want them to think I had favorites. Okay? So, did I go the wrong way again? Yes, I did. So here is a copy of that document. And it's just, what we did was I went and these are our milestones. This is where we need to be. This is what needs to happen. And here we are as we go. Okay, so from 22 to 23, I was working the plan. The plan was going great. You know what happens when you have a plan? Someone throws a monkey wrench in it. So through April and May, we were receiving our external evaluations. Things were working. A couple of kinks in the plan, but as far as Interfolio is concerned, working with Interfolio, getting it worked out, not a big deal. Then the Board of Regents said, we want you guys to do this earlier than the year that we told you to. So that meant that instead of having a whole year with my pilot, I only had half a year with my pilot. So that meant I had to bring in my phase 2 folks in January. So the next January. So that meant between May and December, we had to identify those people. I had to start creating another training set because they had to come on with annual reviews. That meant every college, every faculty member had to be in Interfolio, whether we liked it or not. Gotta love the board. Gotta love them. So from January to March, all I did was I changed those milestones, the dates in those milestones, rinse and repeat it because I had done it. It worked out fine. Okay? In July, I started talking with Interfolio about APIs because one of the things that we needed was I needed to get the scores out of Interfolio, which is the reason why from their annual reviews. That meant that I had to talk to someone at Interfolio about APIs, which I don't know what they do. I just know I'm supposed to You click something and I'm supposed to get what I need, right? I made the forms, I have the answers of the forms, I need all the answers. In comes Charlie Sharble. I ended up contacting him, and we had our meeting, and he was so patient. I was like, so we need to do what? So what exactly does that do? So in my mind, they're gonna push this button, and then all those answers are gonna come out. So how's it gonna look? Okay, are you sure it's just that simple? Okay, thank you. I'll contact you in a minute. I went and talked with my university IT. Of course, they're talking. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know the answer. Okay, you know what? I'll get back with you. Come back to Charlie Sharble. He sat down with me and he said, here's your first call, here's a second call, here's a third call. If you don't do it this way, they need to do it this way. And I even asked questions like, if they're introductory in this, should they be able to do this? Yes. Thank you. I even showed him, okay, this is what I'm gonna send them. This is the recipe. Yes, thank you. Gave it to the IT people. They're asking me questions. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. So they even met and they talked together. I'm sitting on the call, they're geeking out in tech talk, and I'm just like, great. Everyone's happy? You got what you need? You got what oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So we were able to pull the scores that we needed out of the APIs, and you couldn't tell me anything. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. I was a bee's knees. I even walked around and strutted around the office.
And I didn't know what she was talking about at all. I said, what? Okay, are we able to do whatever? Like, I don't know anything about any of that, so.
Yeah, she was okay. Why do I keep going the wrong way? Okay, so some invaluable tidbits. You have to be able to pivot and change your plan of attack. You need to be able to be open to the feedback of your administrators. They were overwhelmed. They had to learn something. They didn't volunteer for this. They were voluntold for it, right? So you have to be there, be patient with them, listen to what they have to say. And I even did a roadshow for the annual reviews. And I even sat in the meeting where one of the deans sat like this the whole time. It didn't matter what I said. It didn't matter how much I smiled. It didn't matter anything. But what I was very thankful for was that in one of the meetings that he was there, that he wanted to say, oh, this is not good, the people who were in the pilot actually shut him down. Thank you. You're my ally. I love you. So now from 2023 to 2025, doing the RPT API consultation again to make sure everything is going well. I started between July and November, I started to restart the LM build because now I only have just the one. So that's great. So between 23 and 25, we have been having some kind of technical difficulties as far as like trying to get some things worked out, but we've got some workarounds. Getting it done, it's wonderful. Avia Bell King came on board to help me. She's like, hey, I'm your customer success manager. Let's get this done.
She's ours too, so.
You can't have her, she's mine.
You gotta share her.
No, she's mine, Avia, you're mine first. Okay, just want to make sure. Some overall tidbits for you. Administrative debriefing and sharing opportunities, what I did with all of the administrators after a year. They all came together, hey, share what you did at your college. This is why it's not working for you. Talk with them, get them connected. Record your unit training sessions if you can. Panther Pounce cases, our mascot is Panther Pounce. Those were the test cases that I use. So you can go in, find them, delete those cases. Well, I can, they can't. And make sure that you're communicating with your Interfolio / Elsevier reps. If you don't communicate with them, they don't know what you need.
So to conclude, just wanted to say that now the faculty are like, well, where has Interfolio and Dana been all of our lives? They literally thought we were gatekeeping. They said, well, this is helpful. Why are we just now doing this? Like, what's wrong with you? And it's so funny to watch the evolution of their questions. We're proud of this. And then what else can we do with Interfolio? So they don't even know life cycle management is coming, but this is how trust gets built. Because we rolled this out slowly, and they're asking us what is next that they can do. So we're going to be excited about that. What I want to do before I say thank you to you is to say thank you to Dana. So if you can indulge me in 1 second. Dana, there's a difference. And to all of you that do what Dana does, there is a difference between education and schooling, right? I have a whole lot of schooling behind me, but you educate me every single day. And you educate the faculty and the administrators and all of you that do what she does, you do the same thing. So I want to say thank you, because that stare that you got, you had those people having your back, I have your back, but the work that you do is phenomenal. And so I'm going to thank all of you in a minute, but I wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
if you do the QR code at the very end of the survey, it asks if you have any questions for me. If you have questions, put your email in there, and I'll email you back with your answers. And I do have business cards as well.
Yes, so thanks all of you for your participation. We appreciate you here today as well.